There are places this world tries to forget. Landscapes where the rules we think we understand slip, where time bends, where the air hums with a sound no living thing should ever hear. Places where people vanish, not into the forest, not into the sea, but into something else. These aren't random disappearances. They follow a pattern, one carefully redacted from every official record, but not from mine. I'm the Truth Seeker, and you're watching The Dark Files, my personal archive of places, entities, and events the world wasn't supposed to know. Tonight, I'm opening case file number 2, a countdown of the 10 most chilling alien abduction hotspots, locations where the lines between here and somewhere else have worn dangerously thin. Some of these sites you may have heard whispers about. Some have been deliberately erased from history. All of them are waiting. And if you stumble across one, the question isn't if they'll find you, it's how long they've been watching you already. With that, let's begin our countdown. Starting our countdown at number 10, we head deep into the frozen wilds of Alaska, to a place known only by those brave or unlucky enough to cross its path. On the edge of nowhere, a stretch of remote highway disappears into a wall of shifting fog. Drivers who pass through it call it the Red Echo Zone, a place where time bends and reality fractures. Vehicles are found days later, doors flung open, engines cold, personal belongings strewn across the asphalt, like the passengers were ripped from their seats. Survivors, the few who make it out, speak of humanoid figures just beyond the fog, watching, waiting, and red lights in the mist that seem to follow, no matter how fast they drive. Officially, there's no record of the Red Echo Zone, but those who have crossed through know the truth. Something's out there, and it's hunting in the cold. Number 9 takes us to the cracked earth and scorched plains of West Texas, to a place the locals call Bitter Creek Fault. The ground here is constantly shifting. Strange, shallow earthquakes ripple underfoot, leaving jagged crevices in their wake. But what's more disturbing are the metallic fragments found fused into the rock, fragments that shouldn't exist, melted and twisted into the earth itself. Witnesses report seeing things, arms, hands, something reaching up from the cracks, but before vanishing just as quickly. The government blames natural seismic activity, but the evidence and the disappearances suggest something far less natural. At number 8, we come to Wyoming, to the forgotten military compound known only as Site Theta Black. Officially decommissioned decades ago, the site was sealed from within, chain-link fences rusting under the weight of secrecy. But something still moves inside. Infrared drones captured heat signatures, shape-shifting in the darkened hallways, too fluid, too fast to be human. Rumors swirl that Theta Black was a testing ground, not for weapons, but for contact. Contact with something we were never meant to understand. Number 7 takes us to Montana, to the Copper Sky Fields, a vast stretch of farmland where the skies shimmer with something unnatural. Livestock are found mutilated, their bodies twisted and stripped with surgical precision, but not by any blade. The wounds, they almost look like the flesh was rewritten, reshaped by something that doesn't understand how bodies are supposed to work. But the real anomaly isn't on the ground, it's above. Drifting in and out of sight, impossible organic shapes writhe within the clouds. Tendrils, limbs, something half-formed, watching. Even the soil itself bears scars, intricate, vein-like burns carved into the earth, forming symbols no human hand could have traced. The air hums with static, and electronics flicker and fail, not at random, but almost as if they're rejecting modern life entirely. the patterns, the corruption spreading here. It all points to an earlier case I covered in the It's True series, a case where an ancient being lay dormant no more. This isn't just a strange event. This is a warning. At number 6, we descend into the woods of Tennessee, where the Ashdown Forest sink swallows both light and life. Hikers vanish near a cluster of uncharted caves, personal belongings left behind, and every watch found at the site has stopped at exactly 3:17 a.m. The few who return speak of distant voices calling from underground, voices they recognize but can't explain. And deeper still, there's something else, something that watches from the dark, waiting for those who wander too close. Patterns are emerging, but what's more disturbing is what's happening just above these sites, just out of view. Satellite records, declassified flight logs, and leaked surveillance documents show something no one wants to talk about. Military aircraft circling these locations, sometimes just minutes before the abduction reports flood in. It's almost as if somebody already knows, someone human, and they're watching, just like we are. Number 5 brings us to the Great Lakes, to the place that doesn't officially exist, Point Mercy Island. Once home to a small Coast Guard station, the island was abandoned after a so-called biological containment incident. No official records explain what was contained or what escaped. Shipwreck survivors who washed ashore speak of figures watching from the tree line, just before their memories are shattered into fragments and nonsense. Even today, a single buoy floats near the island, its unmarked transponder still sending a signal, even though its batteries should have died decades ago. At number 4, we arrive at a place untouched by time, the Glass Meadow. No fallen branches, no animal tracks, no life. Just a perfect, preserved clearing where the grass grows with mathematical precision. The people found wandering there all have something in common. Surgical scars, fresh incisions, no local doctor can explain. When asked how they got there, they all say the same thing. I was shown the light. Even the insects won't come here, as if something unseen keeps them out. At number 3, we descend into the heart of Nevada, where sound itself turns hostile. The Black Echo Site, a place so remote it doesn't appear on maps, just a stretch of cracked earth where the air itself pulses. Hikers and campers nearby report hearing a low-frequency hum, the kind you feel deep in your bones. The sound follows them home. Wildlife avoid the area entirely, and no aircraft, civilian or military, will fly directly above it. But those who get too close say the sound changes. It begins to whisper, and if you hear your own voice calling from the void, it's already too late. At number 2, we cross the world to the wide-swept steppes of Kazakhstan, a land older than memory itself. This place has no official name. Locals simply call it the Steppe of Forgotten Lights. For centuries, strange lights have drifted across the plains, cold, flickering orbs that seem to follow travelers, their movements erratic, yet purposeful. But it's what lies beneath the soil that's truly unsettling to those who come too close. Buried deep under the grasslands are fragments, not of ancient tools or bones, but of technology, impossibly advanced, impossibly old. Devices that hum softly, even after centuries underground. And sometimes, in the wind, you'll hear voices, speaking in no language ever heard on Earth. At number 1, we come to Harvester's Hill, a place frozen in time. Cabins stand in eerie silence, some collapsed, some perfectly preserved. Meals left half-eaten on tables. Radios playing static-laced songs from decades ago. Entire families vanished without a trace, leaving nothing behind but the smell of ozone. and scattered shoes outside their doors. In 1998, a team of paranormal investigators captured a single frame of video, a blinding column of light, and within it, an elongated figure reached toward the camera before the feed cut to static. Trail cameras aimed at the hill capture only one thing, that column of light, and a long, slender shadow moving inside it. We like to think of abduction stories as random. One unlucky person, one strange night, a bright light, and then they're gone. But it's never random. These locations are marked, not just by the missing, but by something older, something still reaching through. Each place a doorway, each disappearance part of a pattern they've been protecting for centuries. And the deeper I go into the dark files, the clearer the pattern becomes. Some of these sites, they're not just being used by whatever's watching us. They're being watched too. Which means someone down here, someone human, knows far more than they're saying. And that's exactly where I'm going next. In case file number 3, Project Enoch, coming soon. Be sure to like and subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you don't miss any details as I open case file 3 and other stories of the unexplained and the unknown. There is no doubt in my mind that aliens are real. I've seen enough evidence. The real question is, why are they here? And how long will it be before they give us that answer, whether we like it or not? Like someone once said long ago, the truth is out there. And as I always say, it's true if you believe it.
Subject 12. Drift confirmed.